Hi, I'm Dr. Marcellino D'Ambrosio, and today on Early Church Fathers, we have the privilege of discussing one of the most inspiring men in the history of the early church. His name, Ignatius. His city, Antioch. And remember Antioch from the New Testament. It is the city where Paul and Barnabas made their center, from which they went out and missionized all over the Near East. Think about also the fact that Paul was not the only great apostle, together with Barnabas, who visited Antioch. But after the persecution broke out, following the death of Stephen, who went to Antioch but Peter? So Antioch is the place where Christians were called Christians for the first time, the center of apostolic mission to the Gentiles, a place where Peter, Paul, and Barnabas all taught and lived. And the second successor of Peter, the second person to lead that church after Peter, was Ignatius of Antioch. The window that he gives us into the mind of the apostles is incomparable. But he also gives us the window into the heart and mind of an early Christian martyr. Because persecution broke out around the year 110, and Ignatius was a victim in that persecution. It was short-lived, but he was caught and he was condemned to death, not in Antioch in Syria, but he was to be taken all the way to Rome for the amusement of the crowds, where he would die in the arena. And so he was chained to a squad of soldiers. He called them 10 leopards, men who were brutal and crude. And he was marched by land to what's now Turkey. And he went through town by town, from southern Turkey all the way up to the north, to Troas, or ancient Troy, where he finally got on a ship, was taken over to Greece, and then finally from there to Italy, and we lose sight of him. But during his journey through Turkey, he stopped in various towns. And in those towns, there was no persecution happening. So delegations of Christians came to meet him, to visit him while he was in chains. They kissed his chains. They did him honor and homage. And then after they left, when he had a moment, he wrote a letter to them, giving them his teaching, his last will and testament, so to speak, to each of those particular churches. He wrote 7 letters, and by the providence of God, those letters were saved, and they come down to us now. And in those letters, we see why he was marching so resolutely towards Rome. He was in love with Jesus Christ. He was a bishop, the leader of the church in Antioch. He was a teacher, and in his letters he taught about various things that we'll discuss in another show. But first and foremost, he taught by example. He was, before a bishop, a disciple of Jesus Christ. And he understood that his arrest only could have happened by the will of God. He didn't offer himself for arrest. He was found, he was arrested, and it was his opportunity to give witness to Jesus Christ. That's what the word martyr means. It means witness. So he gave witness to Christ with his words, and he knew that he was destined to give witness to Christ with his blood, that he was destined and he was called to lay his life down as a sacrifice of love for Jesus, but a sacrifice with Jesus of intercession and supplication for the church. In every letter, he mentions this. And he asked the Roman church in the letter to them not to stop this process, not to intervene and get him off, that he is called to give witness, to be one with his Savior, laying his life down for his sheep, like his Savior did, loving to the end, so that all would know that he loved Christ, that all would know that he loved the Father. That was the heart of this ancient Christian martyr, and it's the only letter from a martyr that we have from the ancient church that shows us what martyrdom meant and showed us why it was so powerful. I'm Dr. Marcellino D'Ambrosio. Thanks for joining us for Early Church Fathers.